So good morning. If it's morning, good morning to you all. Sweet to see the names. I know a lot of these names. You all are YouTube chat famous at this point. Yeah, very sweet. Um, okay, let's do that whole meditation thing. So just sense in what you think you're supposed to do when you start meditating. Any ways you force yourself into a kind of slot of one kind or another. And let's just see how natural we can be in these first couple minutes. Sometimes subtly we can be trying to prove something to ourselves, to the teacher, to the Buddha, to someone. But you don't have to prove anything in your practice. And so we relax, truly relax. And then if tension remains, we let it remain. But we relax the energy that turns us into a project, the energy that turns us into the project manager. And we sit together. And maybe it's skillful to highlight some phenomena with the attentional spotlight, breath, body, sound, darkness behind your closed eyes. But we attend not in a kind of brittle way, not attempting to prove anything to ourselves. We attend knowing that the ingredients of waking up are more present than we might imagine. To try and prove something to ourselves, to another, entails that we fixate ourself. We subtly imaging sense of who we are, of a kind of trajectory of where it's all going, what will be when we get there, or what we will be if we don't. We kind of sandwich ourselves in time, the busyness of time. But we don't have to prove anything. unseduced by the mirage of the future. It's true, the future is coming, but it never comes exactly in the form we imagine. We never arrive in that moment. When it does come, we realize that wanting is always different than getting. And so we say, enough. This is good enough, safe enough. We surrender into the bottomlessness of the present. phenomena, many are egoically titillating. But we don't need to spin out into the outer orbits of egoic machinations. If we can just absorb the body blow of phenomena, just this, pleasant, unpleasant, we can just stay. Resting back in the openness of awareness. Okay. It's yeah, it's good to sit with you. I think I'm accustomed to a YouTube situation here. Yeah, so thanks for having me. So yesterday introduced this theme about different Dharma pleasures and spoke specifically about the pleasure of having a path, the pleasure of having a path. And today it's the pleasure of sourcing our motivation from love. So when I was it was just out of college and I worked in this I was not qualified for this incidentally, but when they pay $9 an hour, you get me. So I was working in a residential treatment center, and for severe psychiatric, adolescent boys with serious psychiatric stuff. That was acute enough that they couldn't be in homes, and so it was residential treatment, and it was 6 kids in the house, and in a just an ordinary house in the middle of LA, and it was such intense and beautiful work, and as a counselor, my job was to to run groups of one kind or another, do fun things together, play, cook for them, take care of them, and implement a behavioral modification program. Yeah, whereas like good points for good behavior, and the loss of privileges from bad behavior, and you could see how you could run the behavioral modification program on fear or love. And at least initially, and I remember, working with a whole cast of characters, all of us, counselors, fear, at least initially, could be more effective. Yeah. That it was easier to change the behavior of the children if there was some measure of fear of the counselor. But in the end, I think love wins out if our behavior, if their behavior is going to change in a sustainable way. It's going to be a function of love, conditioned by love, shaped by love. And my question for you is what kind of behavioral modification program are you running on yourself? What kind of program are you running on yourself? Where do you source your motivation from? We have to source our motivation from somewhere. We want to change and grow, right? That line from Suzuki Roshi, you're perfect just as you are, and there's room for improvement, right? Yeah. There's much we want to do. We want to love more fully, to be less neurotic, to take good care of our body, to minimize the harm we do to others, to ourselves. There's a lot, yeah? And how do we actually motivate ourselves to grow and evolve, to make progress? And the Dharma pleasure, that I'm speaking about is coming to source our motivation from love and care rather than self-harshness or fear or the kind of egoic machinations of proving. Self-hatred has maybe many functions, some of which are actually soothing. But one of the functions is a kind of behavioral modification program we run on ourselves. And it's all stick, no carrot. And it's this kind of commitment to, okay, I'll punish myself to motivate myself to achieve something that I think is worthy. And in that framework, we often get very preoccupied with the gold stars and with the kind of imagine how we'll feel when we actually get the gold star. But getting the gold star never feels like wanting it, and never really, I don't know, it's almost this sense of like, well, I'll be a grown-up once I do that, once I grow in this way. But no one ever feels like a grown-up as far as I can tell. And we repeat the habits of self-harshness in our practice. We can be harsh or even sometimes really kind of cruel as we come up against our limitations. Yeah. When we know we need to let go, but we cannot. When we're trying to be tranquil, but we're agitated. Yeah. When we're trying to be equanimous, we're trying to be okay with something, but we're really not. Yeah, we come up against certain moments of limitation, and we are trying to kind of shape ourselves through mechanisms of fear and harshness. And that system of motivation can fall away almost completely. Yeah. One meditator could touch me, said, I realize my inner critic loves me. Yeah. They're just confused, something like this. Yeah. When our limitations and our neurosis are no longer a kind of commentary on who we are, when we're at least a little bit free of these egoic pressures of proving oneself, proving the object of self to someone, even if that audience is just us. When that starts to fall away, our neurosis becomes a source of curiosity and humor rather than shame. Yeah. Yeah, we know we still have to grow. We have habits that get us into trouble, but our neurosis becomes a source of curiosity and humor rather than shame. One of the, I don't know, features of practice, one of the things I notice is like, it really has become such a delight to laugh at myself, like to laugh deeply. And to laugh deeply, I'm not talking about like that little habit that's like really kind of innocent. And no, I'm talking about like laughing deeply in the face of real problems, real neurosis. Yeah. And in that laughter, that kind of laughter, it's like I can almost feel what might become self-judgment or some shame inflected state or something just releases. Yeah. We do want to grow and mature, but the the desperate urgency of ego is gone. Yeah. That is not where we're sourcing our motivation from. And the poignancy of our condition, of the human condition, is etched deeply into our being. And so that's there for us too. And we begin to source our motivation from love, from tenderness and care and sympathy with ourselves, with the plight of suffering. And there's this sense of like, oh yeah, there's nothing left to prove to ourselves, to others. We're not growing and changing in order to prove something. And then all of our projects, our whatever that is, our exercise schedule, our meditation commitment, or you fill in the blank, whatever, comes from care. Yeah, comes from care, and comes from this very sober appreciation about the strengths, weaknesses, yeah, and just feels so much less entangled. And when we feel less entangled, when we feel like nothing we discover about who we are is going to break our heart, then there's just a lot of, of curiosity, a kind of urgency of discovery, and lightness. Yeah. So sourcing our motivation from love rather than fear. This is a Dharma pleasure for sure. So offer that for your consideration. I mentioned that just have an optional Zoom session this evening, 7 p.m. to 7:30 on Zoom. So the link is on that website there. So you can just go to matthewbrensilver.org. It's on the first page. You'll see it. And it'll be a kind of opportunity to just to sit together for a few minutes and have some questions. Yeah. And yeah, so that's at in 12, 11 hours or so. Yeah, so you're warmly invited, and I will, if I don't see you there, I will see you tomorrow morning. Yeah. Okay, thanks so much. Look forward to being together more.